Mahabharata is an earlier Indonesian book. Section 8. Santosaba works. Created as a discourse to scientists based on academic studies and studies, in an effort to restore the true history of Indonesia. INDONÉSIARYÄ. By Santosaba. Exploration and research. Complete info. WhatsApp to +62 813 2132 9787. Java version of Kanta. The heirloom given by Indra is not named Kanta, but is called the Badal Tulik arrow. The Javanese version of the Kanta weapon, or better known as the Kuntawijayadanu, had been obtained by Karna long before, namely at the birth of Gatotkaca, son of Bhimasena. It is said that the baby Gatotkaca until he was 1 year old was not separated from the placenta. Not a single heirloom can cut Gatotkaca's umbilical cord. Arjuna then went to meditate for the sake of helping his phone. Batara Guru ordered Batara Narada to hand over Kuntawijayadanu's arrows to Arjuna. At the same time, Karna was also doing meditation. Batara Surya helped him by covering the sun and told Karna to confess to be Arjuna when Narada arrived. Narada finally arrived in front of Karna, which he thought was Arjuna. As planned, Kunta's arrow falls into Karna's hand. Realizing that he had been tricked, Narada went in search of the real Arjuna. Arjuna, who heard this, immediately pursued Karna. The battle took place in which Arjuna was only able to seize the sheath wrapping. Even so, the dart sheath can be used to cut the umbilical cord of baby Gatotkaca. Strangely, the object went into the baby's stomach. Later, when the Bharatayuddha war took place, Karna's arrow was used by Karna to kill Gatotkaca, as a symbol of the heirloom meeting the sheath. Indian version of Pandavas and Kauravas. The Indian version, Pandavas and the Kauravas lived together in the Hastinapura palace. The term Kaurava used in the Indian version of the Mahabharata has two meanings, namely referring to all the descendants of Kuru, including the Pandavas in it. The other meaning refers to the Dhritarashtra's children, because they are the oldest descendants in the Kuru lineage. Pandavas are not included. Rsi Drona educated them as children, along with their son, named Aswadama. In addition, they are also cared for by Bhisma and Bhagawan Kripa. After Pandu died, his brother Dhritarashtra continued his reign. Dhritarashtra saw the talents of the Pandavas and wanted to nominate Yudhishthira as king, but this actually caused jealousy in Duryodhana, one of the Kauravas. Yudhishthira Indian version. The Indian version of Yudhishthira, known as the eldest of the Pandavas, he should have been the second son of Kunti, not the first. Yudhishthira means firm or firm in warfare. Another name is Dharmaraja, which means Dharma king, because he has always tried to uphold the Dharma throughout his life. Other nicknames that Yudhishthira have are Ajatasattu, without enemies, Bharata, descendants of Maharaja Bharata, Dharmawangsa or Dharmaputra, descendants of god Dharma, Kurumukya, leader of the Kuru nation, Kurunandana, beloved. Kuru dynasty, Kurupati, king of Kuru dynasty, Pandavas, son of Pandu, Partha, son of Prita or Kunti. Some of the names above were also used by other figures of the Kuru dynasty, for example Arjuna, Bhishma, and Duryodhana. In the Javanese puppet version, another nickname for Yudhishthira is Puntadewa. The degree of nobility is equal to the gods. Yudhishthira, good at fighting personal passions, Gunadalikrama, good at speaking languages, Samyaji, respecting others as oneself. Kunti, who mastered the Adityardaya mantra, immediately made her husband's wish come true. This mantra is the science of summoning gods to get sons. By using this mantra, Kunti succeeded in bringing the Dharma god, Yama, and got the son's gift from him without going through intercourse. The first son was named Yudhishthira. Thus, Yudhishthira became Pandu's eldest son, as a result of the gift of Dharma, the god of justice and wisdom. The characteristics of Yudhishthira are reflected in his nicknames, as mentioned above. Its most prominent characteristics are fair, patient, honest, obedient to religious teachings, full of confidence, and dare to speculate. Yudhishthira's supernatural powers in Mahabharata, especially in terms of playing the spear weapon. Puntadewa Javanese version. The story in Javanese puppetry is somewhat different. According to this version, Puntadewa is Pandu's biological son who was born in the Hastinapura palace. The arrival of Bhattara Dharma only helped the birth of Puntadeva and gave him his blessing. Thanks to the god's help, Puntadewa was born through Kunti's crown. In Javanese puppetry, the name Puntadewa is used more often, while the name Yudhishthira is only used when he grows up and becomes king. This version depicts Puntadewa as a white-blooded human, which is a metaphor that he is a pure-hearted figure and always upholds the truth. He was once told of taming wild animals in the Wanamarta forest by just touching their heads. Yudhishthira has several heirlooms, including Jamis Kalamasada, Tunggalnaga, and Robiang Mustikawari. Kalamasada is a book, while Tunggalnaga is an umbrella. Both of them are the main heirlooms of the Amarta kingdom. Meanwhile, Robiang Mustikawari is in the form of a necklace inside Yudhishthira's skin. This heirloom was given by Gandamana, namely the governor of the Hastina kingdom during the Pandu reign. When Yudhishthira's patience reached its limit, he felt the necklace and immediately he turned into a large giant with pure white skin. Pandavas and Kauravas then studied religion, law, and state administration from the Krepa receipt. In this education, Yudhishthira emerged as the smartest student. Krepa is very supportive if the throne of Hastinapura is handed over to the oldest Pandavas. After that, the Pandavas and the Kauravas studied war science from Resi Drona. In this second education, Arjuna emerged as the smartest student, especially in archery. Meanwhile, Yudhishthira himself was more skilled in using spear weapons. Indian version of Bhima. The Indian version of Bhima, calling the second person of the Pandavas and the third child of Kunti. Bhima means terrible. Meanwhile, Bhima's other name is Rekodara, which means wolf stomach, and refers to his penchant for eating. Another nickname is Bhimasena, which means warlord. Kunti, Pandu's wife, cried out to Bayu, Marut Maruta, the god of wind. From Kunti's relationship with Bayu, Bhima was born. With the gift from Bayu, Bhima will be the strongest and most affectionate person. In the childhood of the Pandavas and Kauravas, Bhima's strength was unmatched among his peers. This power was often used to tease his cousins, namely the Kauravas. One of the Kauravas, Duryodhana, became very resentful of Bhima's ignorant attitude. This hatred grew so well that Duryodhana intended to kill Bhima. In their teens, Bhima and his siblings were educated and trained in the military by Drona. In studying weapons, Bhima focuses more on mastering the science of using a mace, such as Duryodhana. They both became students of Balarama, namely Kresna's brother, who was very proficient in using mace weapons. Compared to Bhima, Balarama loved Duryodhana more, and Duryodhana was also loyal to Balarama. One day when the Kauravas and the Pandavas went on an excursion in the area of the Ganges River, Duryodhana served Bhima food and drink, which had previously been mixed with poison. Because Bhima did not like to suspect someone, he ate the food given by Duryodhana. Not long after, Bhima passed out. Then his body was tied tightly by Duryodhana using vines, after which it was carried away to the river Ganges by a raft. When the raft carrying Bhima reached the middle of the river, the snakes that lived around the river pecked Bhima's body. The snake venom acts as an antidote to the poison that Bhima eats. This state in Ayurveda is called Sama Samam Shamayati, or poison against poison, or which causes pain and that heals it alike. When he realized, Bhima immediately untied the vines that were wrapped around his body, then he killed the snakes that were biting his body. Several snakes saved themselves to meet their king, namely Naga Basuki. When Naga Basuki heard the news that Pandu's son, Bhima, had killed his men, he immediately welcomed Bhima and gave him a divine drink. The drink was drunk by several bowls by Bhima, so that his body became very strong. Bhima stayed at Naga Basuki's palace for 8 days, and after that he returned home. When Bhima came home, Duryodhana was annoyed that the person he hated was still alive. When the Pandavas realized that the hatred in Duryodhana's heart was beginning to sprout, they began to be careful. Bhima Javanese version. Bhima is a popular figure in Javanese puppetry. Once upon a time, the former president of Indonesia, Sukarno, stated that he was very happy and identified himself as similar to the character of Bhima. Other names for Bhima are Bratasena, Balawa, Barawa, Dandungwakana, Nagata, Kusumayuda, Kawara, Kusumatalaga, Pandusiwi, Bayusuda, Sena, Wijasena and Jagal Abaloo. Bhima is brave, steadfast, strong, steadfast, obedient and honest, and considers everyone to be equal, so he is depicted as never using subtle language, krama ingal, or even sitting in front of his interlocutors. Bhima did both of these things, spoke in krama ingal and sat down only when he was a sage in the Bhima Suki play, and when he met Dewa Rusi. He has the specialty and is an expert at mace, and has a variety of weapons, including 1. Pankanaka nails. 2. Ruyakpala mace. 3. Alugara. 4. Bhargawa, big axe. 5. Bhargawasta. While the types of magic he has include 1. Aji Bandung Bandawasa. 2. Aji Taplindu. 3. Aji Bayubraja. 4. Aji Blabak. 5. Pengantal on Tal. 1. Bhima also has clothes that symbolize greatness, namely, Gulung Pudaksategal. 2. Jarat fertilizer. 3. Asem. 4. Sumping Sarangpati. 5. Kalatbahu Kandrakarana. 6. Nagabanda's belt. 7. Sindhi pants. 8. Air. While some of the divine gifts he received, among others, Kampa Erpaleng cloth. 1. Bintuluaji. 2. The Kandrakarana bracelet. 3. Nagasasra necklace. 4. Sumping Sarangpati. 5. Jarat Asem Pudik fertilizer. Bhima lives in the Jodhipati Duchy, Indraprastha region. He has 3 wives and 3 children, namely, Dui Nagajini, has a son named Arya Anantaraya, Dui Arimbi, son Raden Gatotbaka, and Dui Arangayu, son Arya Anantasena. According to the Banyuma's version, Bhima had one more wife, namely Dui Rakatawati, the son of Srangini. Arjuna Indian version. In the Indian version, Arjuna is the third of the Pandavas and is the youngest son of Kunti. 4th, Kunti received a gift from Resi Durvasa to be able to summon the gods according to his wishes, and also be able to get children from these gods. Pandu and Kunti took advantage of this gift and then called Lord Indra, Sakra, who then gave them a child named Arjuna. Arjuna means, shining bright, white, clean. Judging from its meaning, the word Arjuna can mean, honest in face and mind. Arjuna earned the nickname, Kurusrezda, which means, the best descendant of the Kuru dynasty. He was a chosen human who had the opportunity to receive a very glorious sacred discourse from Krishna, who is known as Bhagavajata, the Song of God. When he was asked about his 10 names, he replied, "My 10 names are Arjuna, Falguna, Jishnu, Kirti, Shwetawahana, Vibutsu, Vijaya, Partha, Sayashachi, and Dhananjaya. I was called Dhananjaya when I conquered all the kings at the time of Yadnya Rajasuya and accumulated their treasure. I always fight to the end and I always win, that's why I'm called Vijaya. The horse that Lord Agni gave me is white, which is why I am called Shwetawahana. My father Indra gave me a beautiful crown when I was with him, which is why I am called Kriti. I have never fought fraudulently in battle, which is why I was called Vibutsu. I never scare my enemies viciously. I can use both hands when shooting arrows, which is why I am called Sayashachi. My face is unique like Arjun's tree, and my name is, the one that never rots, which is why I am called Arjuna. I was born on the slopes of Mount Himawan, in a place called Satsringa on the day when the star U_era Falguni was above, which is why I was called Falguna. I am called Jishnu because I get great when I get angry. My mother is called Pritha, so I am also called Partha. I swear that I will destroy everyone who injures my brother Yudhishthira and sow his blood on the earth. I can't be conquered by anyone. Arjuna had a noble character, chivalrous spirit, strong faith, resistant to worldly temptations, courageous, and always managed to win glory, earning him the nickname, Dhananjaya. He will surely conquer any enemy, so he is also given the nickname, Parantapa, which means conqueror of the enemy. Among all the Kuru descendants in the lineage of the Kuru dynasty, he was nicknamed Kurunandana, which means Kuru's favorite son. He also has another name, Kuraprawira, which means the best knight of the Kuru dynasty, while the literal meaning is Kuru officer. Among the Pandavas, Arjuna was the most resolute knight hermit. The hermitage is very rough. When he silenced himself, unified and focused his mind on God, all worldly distractions and temptations would not be able to shake his heart and mind. Arjuna was educated along with his other brothers, the Pandavas and Kauravas, by Bhagawan Drona. His proficiency in archery was evident since he was a child. At a young age he already received the title, Maharathi, or prominent knight. When Guru Drona placed a wooden bird on a tree, he instructed his students one by one to target the bird, then he asked his students what they had seen. Many of his students answered that they saw trees, branches, twigs, and everything close to the bird, including the bird itself. When it was Arjuna's turn to take aim, Guru Drona asked him what he saw. Arjuna replied that he saw only birds, not anything else. This made Guru Drona amazed that Arjuna was smart. One day, when Drona was bathing in the river Ganges, a crocodile came to bite him. Drona was able to free herself easily, but because she wanted to test the courage of her students, she shouted for help. Among his students, only Arjuna came to help. With his arrow, he killed the crocodile that was biting his teacher. For Arjuna's dedication, Drona gave an astra which was named Brahma's audience. Drona also taught Arjuna how to summon and attract the astra. According to the Indian version of the Mahabharata, Brahma's audience can only be addressed to gods, giants, evil demons, and powerful beings who do evil, so that their effects are not dangerous. Arjuna has a powerful weapon which is a gift from the gods, the result of his asceticism. He has the Pasupati arrow which he used to defeat Karna in the Bharatayuddha. The bow is named Gandiva, given by Dewa Baruna when he was about to burn the Khandawa forest. He also has a shell trumpet, Sankala, named Dewata_A, which means, God's gift. Arjuna Javanese version. Arjuna has many names and nicknames, including Partha war hero, Janaka, has many wives Pemati, handsome, Dhananjaya, Kumbaljali, Siptanning Mintaraga, holy priest Pandusiwi, Indradanaya, son of Batara Indra, Janavi, Ajal Trengjinas Palguna, Indrasuda, Danasmara, great seducer, and Margana, helpful. Bhagawan Mintaraga is the name used by Arjuna while undergoing ascetic practice at the top of Indrakila in order to obtain a powerful weapon from the gods, which will be used in the inevitable war against his enemies, namely the Kaurava family. Arjuna is a knight who likes to travel, meditate and learn to study. Apart from being a student of Rezi Drona at Padapokan Sukalima, he is also a student of Rezi Padmanabha from Antarayana Hermitage. Arjuna was once a Brahmana in Goa Mintaraga, with the title Bhagawan Siptanning. He was made the superior knight of the gods to destroy Prabhu Nawadakawaka, the giant king of the Manamantaka country. For his services, Arjuna was crowned king in Dewa Indra's heaven, with the title King Keratin. His services are not only that he also gets the gift of magic heirlooms from the gods, including 1. Jendewa, from Bhattara Indra. 2. Arrows Ardadadali, from Bhattara Kuera. 3. Arrow Kundamanak, from Bhattara Narada. 4. Hiai Kalanadas Karas was given to Ghatotbaka when he married Dui Goa, son of Arjuna. 5. Arrows Sankali, from Rezi Drona. 6. Kandranila's arrows. 7. Sarsha arrow. 8. Hiai Saratama's arrows. 9. Arrows. 10. Pasupati. 11. Narakabala's arrows. 12. Ardhathedhali's arrows. 13. Hiai Baruna's Karas. 14. Karas Pulangani, given to Abhimanyu, Tarampat Dawanada, Kupu filled with Jayankatan oil, given by Bhagawan Willawuk from Pringsendani Hermitage, and Siptawilaha horse with Kiai Pamuk's whip. Meanwhile, Arjuna's charms include Panglimunan, Tungingmaya, Sepyanjan, Mayabhumi, Pengasi and Asmaragama. Arjuna also has clothes that symbolize greatness, namely Kampa or Limarsao cloth, Limarkatangi belt, Manankara galung, Kandrakanta necklace and Mustika ample ring, formerly belonging to King Ekalaya, the king of the Parangalung state. Arjuna has a smart and clever nature, is quiet, conscientious, polite, brave and likes to protect the weak. He leads the Madukara Duchy, within the territory of the state of Amarta. After the Bharatayuddha war, Arjuna became king in Banakaling state, the former Jayadratha kingdom. The end of Arjuna's history is told. He was Moksha, perfect death, with his 4 other brothers in the Himalayas. He is an unmatched fighter on the battlefield, even though he is slender, handsome like a virgin, soft-hearted even though he has the will of steel, a knight with a myriad of wives and lovers despite being able to do the hardest asceticism, a knight with loyalty to a deep family but then able to force himself to kill his half-brother. For Javanese people, he is the embodiment of a whole man. Very different from Yudhishthira, Arjuna really enjoyed life in the world. Indian version of Nakula and Sahadeva. The Indian version of Nakula and Sahadeva is the fourth and fifth of the Pandavas. Nakula is the first child of Dui Madri, Pandu's second wife. He is Sadeva's twin brother. Dui Kunti taught Dui Madri the mantra Adityardaya to summon Lord Aswin, the twin healer god, and Nakula and Sahadeva were born. Nakula is very handsome and very beautiful in appearance. According to Draupadi, Nakula was the most handsome husband in the world. Nakula is another name for Lord Shiva. In Sanskrit refers to the color of ichneumon, a type of mouse or rodent from Egypt. Nakula can also mean mink, or it can also mean Bengal mouse. Nakula and Sadeva have special abilities in caring for horses and cows. Nakula is described as a very comforting person. He is also thorough in carrying out his duties and always keeps an eye on his brother Bhima's mischief and even jokes that seem serious. Nakula also has proficiency in playing a sword weapon. The Javanese version of the Nakula. Nakula in Javanese puppetry is also called pintan, the name of a plant whose leaves can be used as medicine. He is the fourth son of Prabhu Panduduanada, king of the state of Hastinapura, and his consort, Dui Madri, daughter of Prabhu Mandrapati and Dui Tejawati, from Mandaraka state. He was born twins with his younger brother, Sahadeva or Sadeva. Nakula also has three brothers and one father, the son of Prabhu Pandu and Dui Kunti, from the Mandura country named Puntadeva, Yudhishthira, Bhima alias Workadara, and Arjuna. Nakula is the incarnation of Bhattara Aswin, the god of healer. He was good at horse riding and was good at using arrows and javelins. Nakula will not be able to forget everything that is known because he has Aji Pranawajati given by Ditya Sapujagad, Senapati of Maradani country. He also has a kupu containing Banu Pangaripan, or water of life, given by Bhattara Indra. Nakula has the character of being honest, loyal, obedient, compassionate, avenging, and can keep secrets. He lives in the Satriyan Savoyahar, the territory of the state of Amarta. Nakula has two wives, namely, Dui Sayati, daughter of Prabhu Kridakarata, king of the Awuawalanjit state, and has two sons each named Bombang Pramusanta and Dui Pramawati. Nakula's second wife is Dui Sranganawati, daughter of Rezi Badawanganala, a giant tortoise who lives in the Wailu River. According to Purwakarita, Badawanangala is known as the king of the country Jisaksamadra alias Ekapratala, and has a daughter named Dui Sritanjung. From this marriage, Nakula received the gift of an heirloom kupu containing the water of life named Tirtamanak. After the completion of the Bharatayuddha war, Nakula was appointed king of the Mandaraka state according to the mandate of Prabhu Salya, his mother's brother, Dui Madrime. The end of his history is told. Nakula died in the mountains with his four siblings. Sadeva is the youngest member of the Pandavas, who has a twin named Nakula. Although twins, Nakula is said to have a more handsome face than Sadeva, while Sadeva is smarter than her brother. Especially in terms of astrology or astronomy, Sadeva's intelligence was far above that of other Rezi Drona students. Sadeva is an accomplished astrologer and is able to know upcoming events. But he was cursed when he revealed the secret of fate, then his head would be split in two. In addition, he is also good at cattle farming. Even though Sadeva was the youngest Pandava, he was considered the wisest of them. Yudhishthira even said that Shadeva was wiser than Brahaspati, the teacher of the gods. After Arjuna's victory over an archery competition in the Panchala kingdom, all the Pandavas married Draupadi, the country's daughter. From this marriage Sadeva had a son named Srutakirti. In addition, Sadeva also married the daughter of Jarasandha, the king of the kingdom of Magadha. Then from his wife named Vijaya, a son named Suhatra was born. Sadeva in Old Javanese Kakawin Sudamala. Sadeva is the main character in Kakawin Sudamala, a literary work in Old Javanese, a legacy from the Majapahit Empire. This manuscript tells of a curse that befell Bhattara Guru's wife, Umayi, as a result of her having an affair with Bhattara Brahma. Umayi is said to have turned into a Rakshasi named Ranini, and could only return to her original form if she was treated by the youngest Pandavas. So, Sadeva was kidnapped and forced to lead the Ruwadan procession. After being possessed by Bhattara Guru, Sadeva was able to carry out Ranini's request. Sadewa also received a new nickname, namely Sudamala, which means, eliminating disease. On the instructions of Ra Nini, who had returned to being Yume, Sadewa went to Prangala's village to marry the daughter of a hermit named Tambrapatra. The girl's name was Pratapa. Javanese version of Sadewa. Sadewa is said to have been born in the palace of the Hastina kingdom, not in the forest. His birth coincided with the war between Pandu and Tremboko, the giant king of the Pringadani kingdom. In that war both died. Madrime, Sadewa's mother, did martial patience by plunging into the Pansaka fire. Another version says, since birth Sadewa has lost his mother, because Madrime died after giving birth to himself and Nakula. As a child, Sadewa had the nickname Tangsan. After the Pandavas built the kingdom of Amarta, Sadewa got Kausatriyan Baradalan as his residence. Sadewa's wife is only one puppet version, namely the Pradapa Putri Rezi Tambrapatra. From this marriage, 2 children named Nikan Sayakti and Bambang Sabekti were born. Each of them is married to Nakula's children named Pramusanta and Pramawati. Another version mentions that Sadewa had a daughter named Rayangulan, who only appeared long after the Bharatayuddha war ended, or to be precise when Arjuna's grandson Parakazit was inaugurated as king of the Hastina kingdom. Rayangulan is married to Nakula's son, Vaidapaksa. Other figures with same names in Hindu mythology and Indian history. There are several other figures named Sahadewa, namely, the name of the son of Jarasandha, the king of the kingdom of Magadha. Thus he is the brother-in-law of Sahadeva, Pandu's son. One of the kings of the Surya dynasty, the son of Dharmanandana, was also named Sahadewa. The name of the son of Sudasa or Somaka's father, the king of the Panchala kingdom. The name of a giant son of Dumraksa and also the father of Krasawa. The name of uncle Gautama Buddha. In Javanese legend there is also a man named Sadewa from an older era. He is the grandson of Watugunung, the king of the Gilingwesi kingdom. This Sadewa suffers from sexual disorders, namely loving fellow men or homosexuals. He finally succeeded in becoming king in the Medangkamulan kingdom with the title Sankaradewa. Sankaradewa is a greedy king who wants to control the entire island of Java. Among other things, he succeeded in seizing the Gilingwesi kingdom from his grandfather, which was then controlled by Parakenan. Parakenan, who is the ancestor of the Javanese version of the Pandavas, is said to have died at the hands of Sankaradewa. Sankaradewa itself was finally defeated by a hermit from India named Rezi Wisaka, who was the disguise of Aji Saka, a human who was considered a legendary demigod. The Indian version of the Kauravas. The Indian version of the Kauravas, sons of the Dhritarashtra, mainly numbered 100. Then Dui Gandhari gave birth to another son named Duskampana and a daughter named Dursala, or Dukala or Dusala. Other Kaurava names here Duryodhana or Suyodhana are the oldest of the 100 Kauravas. He is the incarnation of Kali while Sakuni is the incarnation of Dwapara. He was born to Dhritarashtra and Gandhari. Duryodhana was the oldest of the 100 Kauravas. Literally, the name Duryodhana means, difficult to conquer, or it can also mean, invincible. Duryodhana's body is said to be made of lightning, and he is very strong. He was respected by his younger siblings, especially the Dursasana. By learning martial arts from his teacher, namely Krepa, Drona and Balarama, he became very strong with a mace, and was equal to Bhima, namely the Pandavas who were strong in that regard. When the Kauravas and Pandavas performed their skills when they reached adulthood, a brave knight appeared who claimed to be Karna. He challenged Arjuna, who was called the best knight by Drona. However, Krepa said that Karna had to know her caste so as not to carelessly challenge someone who was not equal. Duryodhana defended Karna, then made him king in the kingdom of Anga. Since that time, Duryodhana has been friendly with Karna. Neither Karna nor Duryodhana knew that Karna was actually Kunti's son. Karna is also Duryodhana's hope to be able to achieve victory when Bharatayuddha takes place, because Duryodhana believes that Karna is an equal opponent to Arjuna. Duryodhana married the daughter of Prabhu Salya and had a son named Laxmana Kumara. Duryodhana is described as being very cunning and cruel. Even though he has an honest character, he is easily influenced by sedition because he does not think long and is used to being spoiled by his parents. Because of the incitement of Sankuni, namely his uncle who was brained and had a sharp tongue, he and his siblings were happy to start quarrels with the Pandavas. In the Bharatayuddha war, the flag of its majesty is emblazoned with the cobra. He was defeated by Bhima in the battle on the 18th day because he hit his thigh with a club. Duryodhana in Indian Hindu view. In the view of contemporary Indian Hindu scholars, Duryodhana is a strong and capable king, who rules justly, but is cunning and evil when he tries to fight his brother, the Pandavas. Like Ravana, Duryodhana was powerful and triumphant, and skilled in religious knowledge, but failed to practice it in life. But most Hindus see him as a bad guy who likes to get into trouble. Duryodhana is also a figure who has great respect for his parents. Even though he was considered to be evil, he still loved his mother, Gandhari. Every morning before fighting he always asked for blessings, and every time he did so, his mother always said that victory was only in the right side. Although this answer discouraged Duryodhana, he still faithfully visited his mother every morning. Pandavas and Kauravas feud. One day Duryodhana thought it was impossible for him and his younger brother to continue the throne of the Kuru dynasty if his cousin was still around. All of them, the 5 Pandavas and their cousins are also known as the Kauravas, lived together in a kingdom which had its capital at Hastinapura. Finally, various evil intentions appeared in his mind to get rid of the 5 Pandavas and his mother, Dhritarashtra, who loved his nephew excessively. When he appointed Yudhishthira as crown prince, he immediately regretted his hasty actions so that he did not think about his son's feelings. This caused Duryodhana to become jealous of Yudhishthira. Envy Duryodhana develops into an assassination plot. Sankuni also facilitated it. Duryodhana invited the Pandavas and their mother on vacation to a place near the Varanawada forest. There is a magnificent building called Jatagraha made by Duryodhana messengers, namely Purokana. The building was made with a material like wax so that it quickly burned. Then Sakuni would burn the Jatagriha building when the Pandavas and their mother fell asleep. The plan had been carefully prepared by Duryodhana and Sakuni, but it was discovered and leaked by Vidura, who was also the uncle of the 5 Pandavas. In the puppet show, this burning incident is known as the Sigala Gala Hall. Before arriving at the resting place, Yudhishthira had also been reminded by an ascetic who came to him that there would be a disaster that would save him, therefore Yudhishthira was already alert to all possibilities. When the Pandavas and their mothers arrived there, Yudhishthira and Bhima realized that the lodging house provided for them had been designed to kill them and their mother. Bhima was about to leave immediately, but at Yudhishthira's suggestion they stayed there for several months. One night, Kunti held a party and a woman close to Purokana was also present at the party with her 5 sons. When Purokana and the woman and her 5 children fell sound asleep because of the food served by Kunti, Bhima immediately ordered his mother and siblings to flee by passing through the tunnel that had been made before. Then, Bhima started burning the candle house they had left behind. Because his mother and siblings felt sleepy and tired, Bhima took them at once with his mighty strength. Kunti was carried on his back, Nakula and Sadeva were on his thighs, while Yudhishthira and Arjuna were in his arms. When leaving the end of the tunnel, Bhima and his brother arrived at the river Ganges. There they were escorted across the river by the Vidura messengers, the minister of Hastinapura, who was worried about their situation. After crossing the Ganges, they passed Saitawada to Hidambawana. On the way, Bhima carried all of his siblings and his mother over a distance of approximately 72 miles. At Hidambawana, Bhima met Hidambi, a Rimbi who fell in love with him. Hidambi's brother named Hidamba became angry because Hidambi had fallen in love with someone who was supposed to be their food. Then Bhima and Hidamba fought. In this fight, Bhima won the battle and managed to kill Hidamba with his own hands. Then, Bhima married Hidambi. From their marriage, a son was born who was named Ghatotbaka. Bhima and his family stayed for several months with Hidambi and Ghatotbaka, after which they continued their journey. After passing Hidambawana, Bhima and his siblings and his mother arrived in a city called Ekachakra. There they boarded the Brahmin family home. One day when Bhima and his mother were alone, while the other 4 Pandavas went begging, the Brahmin owner of the house told them that a giant named Bakasura was terrorizing the city of Ekachakra. At the request of the villagers, the giant stopped disturbing the city, but instead the entire townspeople were required to offer delicious food as well as a human each week. Today, the Brahmin family provides a place to live for those who have a turn to offer up one of their families. Feeling indebted to the kindness of the Brahmin family, Kunti said that he would hand over Bhima, who would later kill the giant Baka. At first Yudhishthira was doubtful, but in the end he agreed. On the appointed day, Bhima brought a cart of food to the Bakasura cave. There he finished the food that should have been offered to the giant. After that, Bhima summoned the giant to a duel with him. Bakasura, who felt insulted, was angry, then lunged at Bhima. Instantly there was a fierce battle. After a long battle, Bhima crushed Bakasura's body like cutting a cane. Then he dragged Bakasura's body to the gate of Ekachakra. With the help of Bhima, the city of Ekachakra returned to peace. He stayed there for some time, until finally the Pandavas decided to go to Kampalya, the capital of the kingdom of Panchala, because he heard a story about Draupadi from a Brahmin. Draupadi is a child born from Putrakama Yajna, namely a ritual to obtain offspring. In the Indian version of the Mahabharata it is told that after Drupada was humiliated by Drona, he went into the forest to plan for revenge. Then he decided to have a son who would kill Drona. With the help of Rezi Jaya and Upajaya, Drupada performed his Putrakama Yajna by means of holy fire. Draupadi was born from this holy fire. At first, Draupadi was given the name Kresna, referring to the blackish color of his skin. In Sanskrit, the word Krishna literally means dark or black. Gradually she became known as Draupadi, which literally means daughter of Drupada. The name Pankali was also given to her, which literally means princess of the Panchala kingdom. Because she is the sister of Drestadyumna, she is also called Yadnyaseni. Word got out that King Drupada was holding a contest to fight for Dewi Draupadi. The form of the match is a wooden fish doll mounted on a wheel that rotates over the arena. Just below the target is a pond filled with oil. Competition participants must be able to shoot the fish doll's eye through the shadow in the pond, not looking up directly. Many knights around Bharatavarsha attended, such as Karna and Salya. The Pandavas gathered with other knights in the arena, but they did not dress like a knight, but disguised themselves as Brahmins. During the competition, no one was able to lift the heavy bow of the Panchala nation heritage, let alone shoot such difficult targets. Karna then stepped forward to represent Duryodhana after his friend failed. With great respect, he managed to lift the heirloom bow and was ready to shoot the target of the competition. Suddenly Draupadi expressed his objection if Karna won the competition, because he did not want to marry the son of a coachman. Because it hurts to hear the humiliation. He said Draupadi was an arrogant woman and must have become an old maid because no other participant was able to win the difficult competition apart from her. Karna's remarks made Draupadi's father, feel anxious. He also opened a new registration for anyone who wanted to marry Draupadi without having to come from the Kshatriya class. Arjuna, who was then disguised as a Brahmin, came forward and registered himself. The Pandavas represented by Arjuna participated. Arjuna came forward and tried to hit the target with precision. The arrow that was released was able to hit the target precisely, and according to the requirements, Dewi Draupadi had the right to belong to him. But the other participants grumbled because a Brahmin was taking part in the competition while the participants wanted the competition to be followed only by the warrior class. Because of these complaints, the commotion could not be avoided anymore. Arjuna and Bhima fought with the knights who fought them while Yudhishthira, Nakula, and Sahadeva fled Draupadi to their house. Arriving at Dewi Kunti's house, their mother, Kresna, who was also present in the competition, knew who the Brahmins who had received Draupadi really were, and he told the participants that it was proper for the Brahmins to get Draupadi because they had succeeded in winning the competition well. Arjuna and Bhima fought with the knights there, while Yudhishthira, Nakula and Sahadeva fled Draupadi to their house. Arriving at home, even though Arjuna also participated in the competition and succeeded in winning it, it was Bhima who said to his mother, "Look what we brought, Mom." Kunti, the mother of the Pandavas, did not see what her children were carrying because she was busy and said, "Share what you get equally." When he turned his head, how shocked he was that his children not only brought alms, but also a woman. Kunti, who did not want to lie, made his children for various wives. Because of his mother's words, Pankali Draupadi had 5 other husbands. They also promised not to disturb Draupadi while making out in the room with one of the Pandavas. The penalty for disturbing actions is exile for 12 years. Of the 5 Pandavas, Draupadi has 5 sons, namely 1. Pratawinda, from his relationship with Yudhishthira. 2. Sutasoma, from his relationship with Bhima. 3. Srutakirti, from his relationship with Arjuna. 4. Satanika, from his relationship with Nakula. 5. Srutakama, from his relationship with Sadeva. The 5 sons of the Pandavas were called Pankawala or Pansakumara. Continues to section 9.